Our series Off the Rails, Life After Toxic Train Wrecks continues this morning as we share our third and final story from Graniteville, South Carolina. A train derailment and chlorine leak in 2005 killed 9 people, forced the closure of its main employer, and left residents with significant health problems. The people we spoke with say it destroyed the town and their way of life. They say they feel forgotten, and their hearts go out to the people living in East Palestine. One phrase that we heard over and over again: if I knew then what I know now. The people of Graniteville share their advice for East Palestine.
You can still smell it at times. When the wind's blowing a certain way, you can still smell it. So I don't think Graniteville will ever be the same again.
Josie and Clyde Widener live just a few blocks from where the disaster happened. They say the chlorine leak affected nearly every aspect of their lives. The local textile mill where they worked shut down 2 years later. Clyde now lives with COPD, and despite some recompense, they say they feel betrayed by Norfolk Southern.
Do not, under no circumstances, settle with the railroad, because they will rip you off. They told us you will not pay taxes on this. All we're doing is reimbursing you for what you need to live on. That was in January of 2005. February of 2006, we get a 1099 and had to pay taxes on everything they gave us.
Just tell them I'm not the colonel.
Former fire chief and current county councilman Phil Napier says the Widener's experience is shared by many in the community.
It's pitiful the way people were treated. They paid me what business I felt like I had lost. That's all I asked for. Some people they treated fairer than they did others. And to be honest with you, had I known then what I know now, I would have got money. Because emotionally, it got me.
Louisiana Wright Sanders, who helped open the Grace Center, previously shared with us that her brother's health suffered until his death years after the incident. And her younger brother, Joe, says his health has never fully recovered.
I have a lot of problems with my lungs. And I didn't have that problem before. They done cleaned up and went on, and it's still having effects on me. Am I breathing? I wheeze a lot.
Charity Caperth Williams says she treats many people like Walker as patients at rural health services. She says they are living with COPD, asthma, emphysema, even anxiety and PTSD.
Do you have any advice for the people who live in East Palestine, Ohio?
If I start having headaches, if I start having hair loss, unexplained skin issues, respiratory issues, make sure it's documented so that you can have that timeline of it started at this point.
As for the response in East Palestine, Wright Sanders says she wishes residents were told to get out immediately after the derailment.
Because we had children here that were running around playing and their hair started falling out. You know, I don't know, was it a result of the chlorine spill or not? But their hair wasn't falling out before.
Now they're being told everything's safe, there's nothing above normal levels. You know, I see you smirking. You know, what are your thoughts on that?
I would, there's an old saying, trust but verify. And I would be verifying what they're saying to me.
The chlorine leak in Graniteville is regarded as one of the worst toxic train disasters in U.S. history. It happened in January 2005, and Napier says there was little national interest. He says much of the news coverage was fixed on an earthquake and tsunami that devastated coasts off of the Indian Ocean just weeks prior. The death of Pope John Paul II and Hurricane Katrina followed that spring and summer.
After 2 months, was the federal government still here?
I don't believe so.
After 2 months, was the state government still here?
No.
And after 2 months, was Norfolk Southern still here?
A few months they were till they got all the signatures they could get. And the only people that really got much out of it were the attorneys. The federal government, the state government, nor the railroad has been back to see how this community is doing, how we've survived.
What's your advice for people in East Palestine?
My advice for people in East Palestine is hold out and fight for your community. Don't give up.
Why are you still here?
Because I fight for my community. I don't give up.
Now, we did reach out to Norfolk Southern, and as of this morning, we have not heard back. According to newspaper reports, Norfolk Southern agreed to pay $2,000 to households within a 1-mile radius from the derailment site. Further settlements would span the years that followed, including a $10.5 million class action lawsuit. According to the United States Department of Justice and the Environmental Protection Agency, the railroad company agreed to pay a $4 million penalty to resolve alleged violations of the Clean Water Act. Most of that money, $3.9 million, was deposited in the Federal Oil Spill Liability Trust Fund. The remaining $32,500 was deposited in the Hazardous Substance Superfund. As for Graniteville, Norfolk Southern provided training to environmental and transportation personnel. It posted the telephone number for the National Response Center for spill reporting near the site, and it stocked a nearby pond with 3,000 fish to replace those killed by the chlorine spill. $100,000 was also used to plant vegetation along the banks of the immediate creek to decrease erosion and sedimentation after the spill. Napier says much of that vegetation is now dead. Sophia?
All right, we have one more story to share. Our series Off the Rails, Life After Toxic Train Wrecks, concludes tonight with more advice for East Palestine residents from some who can relate.
You put trust into people that don't care about you, but that's unfortunately all we have is to put trust.
Paulsboro, New Jersey residents have been there. A train derailment in 2012 released vinyl chloride into the air and water. And although many agree the town has recovered overall, things haven't quite been the same since. Our Michaela Marshall is back tonight with what the people of this New Jersey town hope Ohioans can learn from their experience. Again, that's our series Off the Rails, Life After Toxic Train Wrecks, only on Spectrum News 1 and the Spectrum News app.